Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Booklarder virtual Zoom room. My name is Meghna Girardi. I am the event manager at Booklarder. We're a cookbook store in the Fremont neighborhood of Seattle. I'm going to get started in just a few moments here. We're going to wait for a few more people to get logged in. I am here in Seattle. Matteo is in Athens. Victoria is in Italy, in Orvieto. If you'd like to, you can use the chat to let us know where you are listening from today. And just be sure to select the All Panelists and Attendees button if you'd like everyone to see your message. I'm gonna wait just a few more minutes here. Hello, Zachariah. Zachariah is tuning in from Seattle. Welcome.
Yeah, super, Zachary.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Melissa's in Snohomish / Seattle. Welcome, Melissa. Thanks so much for joining us. Okay. So today we are here actually to chat about this beautiful new book, the Big Book of Amaro, written by Matteo Zed. He's going to be joining us in conversation with Victoria Childress, and I'm going to introduce them in just a moment here. But oh, hello, we've got BTP tuning in from Brooklyn. Hello, welcome. Hi, Karen. Karen's in Oakton, Virginia, and Selena in New York. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to introduce both Matteo and Victoria in just a moment. Books are available at booklarder.com. I will drop a link into the chat for anyone that is interested in purchasing a copy. You know, the books are available at booklarder.com. We always have these author talks that are free, but you can support them by purchasing a book from us or from an independent bookstore if you'd like to. We will have a little time for a Q&A with Matteo and Victoria towards the end of the events. If you have any questions for either of them, you can actually put them in the Q&A button that's also at the very bottom of your screen, just so we're able to keep track of them a little bit easier. And then the chat function you can continue to use to share your comments during the event, or generally just to talk to other attendees. We will get to as many questions as we can. Victoria may pick up on a few during the conversation itself, but we will sort of play that by ear. So joining us today is Matteo Zed. He is considered one of the most talented Italian bartenders at the international level. He won 3rd place at the Bacardi Legacy Cocktail Competition in 2012, 2nd place at the Diplomatico World Tournament in 2013, and then became the 2015 World Champion for the Americas in the Belvedere Martini Challenge. He's had the opportunity to work in Japan under the master Hidetsu Ueno at Tokyo's highly acclaimed Bar 5. After that, he relocated to New York for 4 years, where he worked for Joe Bastianich, Del Posto, the renowned Zuma, and Armani Ristorante on 5th Avenue, where he served as a consultant and operation manager in the Trattoria and projects in Brooklyn, with a bar program that was completely focused on Amari. He's sat as a judge for the world's 50 best bars and has been featured in many national and foreign trade magazines, including Drink International, Bartenders Magazine, and Bar Life. His cocktails were included in Gaz Reagan's book, 101 Best New Cocktails, and in 2015, Matteo was named Best Italian Bartender Abroad by Bar Giornale. In 2019, he partnered with a 5-star boutique hotel to open The Court, the premier bar and lounge located in the heart of Rome, with coveted and enticing views of the Colosseum at ground level. I'd love to come visit someday. Under Zed's leadership, the bar has won numerous awards and accolades, including being ranked 71st in the world for top 500 bars, and has been recently named as one of the world's 50 best bars discovery. With the publishing of this book, the Big Book of Amaro, Matteo aims to introduce the world to the best of Italian Amaro, its rich history and accessibility to be enjoyed by cocktail and spirit lovers at every level. And he currently lives in Rome, Italy, and works as the bar director at the court. He's going to be joined in conversation by his friend, Victoria Childress. She is an American ghostwriter and communication strategist who studied Christian history and its influences on modern architecture, art, food, and culture, later expatriating to the country in 2014. She relived her relocation experience on the American television network HGTV during an episode of House Hunters International. And after nearly 2 decades of education, experience, and building rapport with local producers of artisan products, cuisine, and tourism experiences, she began organizing bespoke tours for American tourists throughout Italy. She brings her passion and celebration for Italian culture, art, and food to the discussion with Matteo, connecting the kindred worlds between American and Italian enthusiasts. With that, I would love to welcome Matteo and Victoria to our virtual Zoom room. Thank you both so much for joining us today. We're really looking forward to learning more about the Big Book of Amaro.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, I am excited to be here with you, Matteo. I know you're all the way in Athens, and I'm still here in Italy. And I'm happy to be here to talk to you about this new book of yours, the Big Book of Amaro. And it was already published in Italian, but the English version was just released last month, right?
Yeah,
that's
this
the
one
Italian
was
version.
the Italian copy, and this is the beautiful American. Yes.
Wonderful.
International. Yes.
And the English version is, like you said, it's a beautiful cover. It has beautiful photography throughout, beautiful illustrations, and of course, a beautiful story of the Amato. So I'm so interested to jump into this book, but let's start with you, the man behind the bar, the man behind the book. Let's talk about how you started your career in bartending and how all of this came to be.
Yes, so my bartending career started was just a case. So it was a particular case because my father was a professional in hotel hospitality. So he wanted I followed his own career. So I studied hospitality in the university, and when I finished, my father sent me in the United States to learn the hotel direction job. But when I was there, I followed the love for bartending. So because was the time about you remember the movie Cocktails with Tom Cruise, and so I was very excited. I really like this kind of figure behind the bar, and so when I get back, I told to my father, "Hey, I want to study as a bartender." My father said, "Are you crazy?" "No, I'm not crazy. I want to do that." And I started to study also as a bartender, to do my first shift in Italy, in London, step by step learning, and here we go. So I worked a little bit.
Wonderful. And where has bartending taken you? I see you've been all over the world.
Yes, like today I'm in Athens. I have to do my pop-up, so my decor pop-up here in Athens, in one of the best bars in the world, the third bar in the world best 50 bars in the world. The name is the Clumsies. So after this interview, I need to run behind the bar and making cocktails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so you've bartended for all of these years. You won so many awards and accolades. What made you want to write a book specifically about the Amato?
I think that one of the most important experience of my life, in a bad way and a good way, was working in the United States. So when I arrived in the United States, I don't want to say bad attitude, but I was very sure about myself as a professional. But when I started to work in the United States, I understood that was totally another kind of world, where the bartending job is a really job. I'm not saying that in Italy we are not professional, or in Europe, but it is a different way to approach to this kind of work. In the United States, everything is very perfect, and the details people take very attention to any details behind the bar, and also work is very focused on the client. And that was for me a great school, make me a better professional for sure, and also show me something that I didn't know. So the American people were crazy for Amaro. So, and everybody want to know more about Amaro. And when I was in Del Posto, the Bastianic and Batali restaurant, we have like a vintage Amaro selection, and the people spend a lot of money to have a shot of that old bottle of Amaro. And so people were crazy, and they waiting with a lot of emotion the arrival of Braulio Amaro. And also, the people asking me, oh, do you have any book about Amaro in Italy? Do you know anything that explains the Amaro? And I was surprised about this kind of love that I really appreciate, because I would like to see the same love in Italy. So by Italian people. But Italian people love it, but not in the right way. They still use Amaro like a digestive at the end of the meal, but they don't go over this kind of imaging of Amaro. Instead, in America, people know a lot about Amaro. If you talk with someone and say, hey, do you have a Fernet Branca? They know the botanicals, they know everything. And also, when I was in the United States, I get also the opportunity to see the first book of Amaro by Brad Alan Parson, that is online with us, a great professional, such an inspiration also for me. And I saw how this book worked a lot, and the people love it. But I think by being an Italian, that to improve also yes, Amaro is not only the big company that everybody knows, but there is a word behind the production of Amaro, a lot of small artisanal liquor company. And so I would love, so I decided to make something complete, something that cover any doubts about this world.
So did you start out knowing a lot about the Amato, or did you discover a lot about it in the process of writing this book?
Allora, so I was very interested about Amaro, and I knew Amaro, of course, being Italian, and I loved to use Amaro in my cocktail, also in the past. But of course, I learned a lot doing this book. So whenever you write something, you go over, or you want to know more, you learn a lot. So I discovered a lot of new things that I didn't know. And that was incredible for me as well. And for example, a lot of small details about I don't know, people don't know, for example, about also the law, that there is a European law behind the Amaro production. That yes, Amaro is a fantastic product, especially for a producer. You don't have any limit of botanicals, so you can use whatever you want to make your own Amaro, any botanicals. So I discovered a new flavor of Amaro with a lot of different ingredients that normally people don't know, like fennel, sea fennel is a kind of fennel that grew up close to the sea. And or for example, people made made an Amaro with radicchio, that is particular bitter red vegetable from Veneto. Or people use the pomegranate in Sicily, and or for example, different kind of citrusy or different kind of lemon. So different kind of mint. You know, mint is not only the mint we know, but there is a lot of different kind of mint. Wow. So Amaro is the business card of the territory. Normally, any territory has its own botanicals and his own herbs that normally grow up naturally without being cultivated. And any Amaro normally is a business card of the territory. Tell you more about the territory that gave life to the Amaro.
Wonderful. So you talk a lot about bitter, and that is what the Amato is. But I found something on your Instagram recently that I thought was really fascinating. So as an American, and as you know, you worked in the United States, and so you're familiar with this. There are many different flavor profiles, culturally speaking, spicy, salty, sweet, but there is a particular, I don't know, significance about the bitter flavor profile for the Italian culture. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So till since we are kids, so we have a good relationship with bitter food. You know, for example, in Italy, when you don't eat, your mom push, hey, eat. You have to eat, eat. You have to eat the vegetable. And part of our vegetable are very bitter, like chicories, like arugula, like radicchio as well. A lot of different kind of salad has this kind of bitter. Also, artichoke is bitter. So you know, artichoke is a
Also
bitter.
coffee.
Yes, coffee, for example. So we are more ready to appreciate the bitter taste. Instead, in the United States, I think this kind of flavor wasn't known before. Wasn't people they didn't know. They start to appreciate now because it's something new, something incredible. But I think a bitter flavor, bitter taste is not only bitter. I think it's the umami. When something is bitter, it's also salty. It's also a little bit smoky. It's a mix of different hints of flavor. Is incredible, and also that's why I think. And we grew up with Amaro. Amaro is always around us. So we grew up with the advertising in the television about Amaro. So when you finish a meal in Italy, they want people say, "Hey, can I offer you?" Normally the restaurant manager or the owner say, "Can I offer you a touch of Amaro? Can I give you a digestive?" So we grew up with this idea of bitter. Is bitter and Amaro is part of our life. So we are a bitter guys.
But it's quite different for the American palate, don't you think? But
Yes.
it's so popular. There, I mean, Americans are so interested. Why do you think that is?
I think, as I told you, I think the palate is changing. First of all, because Italian cuisine developed a lot in the United States in the last 10, 15 years. So meeting the Italian cuisine, you also is going to be inside the bitter flavor profile of some food coming from Italy. Also, I think chicory and rucola. All the Italian American people knows rucola. They want to have rucola everywhere. So I think they start to just because I think before there was not this kind of approach with this kind of flavor profile. But of course, when you start to appreciate, especially growing up, because when you are a kid, your palate is not perfectly ready for the bitter flavor. But growing up, you have the desire to also to have bitter food or anything bitter in your life, especially eating or drinking. Yes, and also the bitter flavor, the bitter taste is the strength of Amaro. So the people think that Amaro is has the digestive properties just because the herbs and the roots and any botanicals in Amaro have this kind of qualities. Normally, is the bitter taste that help the digestion. How when we eat or we drink something bitter, our mind recognize this like something toxic. So and our organism they wanna reject this, and to do this, the body start to produce like bile and gastric juices, like the normal digestion. So that's why you improve your digestion at the end of the meal, especially a very stressed meal. If you have a touch of Amaro, your body start to react in this way and producing bile and gastric juice in a good way. So it's a good improve for your normal digestion. So that's the reason why. So it's because it just is a body reaction.
That's interesting. So you talk about how the amato is a digestive, meaning it's something that a lot of people are used to consuming after a meal. But something that I found fascinating was the word aperitivo. So in bar culture, in American culture, we have the happy hour. But here in Italy, and it's a growing trend in the States and really all over the world, is the aperitivo. And so I came to find that it's quite different than the happy hour. flavor. And being a linguist, and I love, you know, the study of words and the root words, I was asking about, well, why is it called an aperitivo? And I learned that aperitivo comes from the Italian word aprire, which means to open. So talk to me about the aperitivo and the importance of it before dinner and meals.
Okay, first of all, we have to understand so what kind of liquor we use to make the aperitivo. Normally, we use bitter sweet liquor. So any one of us knows the bitter liquor like Campari or Aperol. So there is no difference between this liquor and the Amaro, because Amaro word is a big word. There is a macrocosm of products. And also bitter liquor are considered Amaro because the production process is the same. Normally, the part of the botanicals are the same as well, and just change the color because maybe there is not a big rooty part, and they use more like citrus peel and this kind of. So this is normally the flavor, and like the process I told before. So also normally we do aperitivo when it's like a pre-dinner. So you go to have an aperitivo before to go for dinner. So talking about aperitivo means talking about cocktail and food together. So when you go in Italy to have a drink, especially after work as an happy hour, American happy hour, normally cocktail is also served with some food. So now it's also in America, people do this kind of aperitivo. Especially there is some bar using to do that, like Dante, Cafe Dante in New York City. So you can have an Italian experience there. Have your aperitivo with some food. So, and as I told you, when the Amaro was born, especially like a medicine in the past, so as a digestive, but also is a good medicine, so natural medicine to open your stomach. What does it mean? So when your stomach is empty and you drink something bitter, you have the same process I told you before, the production of bile and gastric juice. So your stomach is start to move, and there is the desire to have food. So that's why in the past some medicine were made with herbs and alcohol, also to help like kids to eat. You know, some kids they don't want to eat, and having this kind of medicine, they have the desire to eat something, and that's work also for the aperitivo. So having this kind of bitter cocktail, you have the desire to eat something. It's like when you eat the chewing gum and your stomach is empty, you start the process. Your body is thinking you are eating something and start like, yeah, exactly, same. Yeah, and this is you really need to eat something. So you're having this kind of cocktail like spritz or Americano or Negroni or whatever is aperitivo cocktail. And with that, we really need to eat something. But just is a pre-dinner. It's not big quantity of food, just short, small cicchetti. We call cicchetti. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You know that.
Yeah. Yes, aperitivo. It's a culture. It's an entire culture, and it's so important. It's not an Italian thing to just go from maybe working or something to dinner, but to have the aperitivo, it's like a ritual in the Italian culture, and it's something I love that. So in your book, you talk about 300 different amati, and so to you, what do you consider a true amato?
Oh, so the majority part of the Amaro we have on the market are liquor Amaro. What does it mean? That there is a quantity of sugar that so high quantity of sugar that is move like switch the Amaro in a Amaro liquor. So because the quantity of sugar is over the limit, because normally by the law. So an Amaro, to be a real Amaro, has to contain 70 grams of sugar any liter. So when the quantity of sugar go over this limit, the Amaro is considered liquor Amaro. Okay. This is also because the bitter taste, the real bitter taste, like the Fernet, like the Petrus, Amaro, not anyone love that because it's very strong. It's really like a medicine. So it's also to make the Amaro more affordable for any palate. Yes.
Wonderful. And so to you, and a true Amato is something that's more on the bitter side, not so much on the sweet side.
This is in my opinion, of course, this is my opinion, but because I like the Amaro like in the past, when how the Amaro was born, because the Amaro was born like a medicine. And you know, the medicine is not good. Normally, real medicine, yes, are not good. So they was born like an infusion of herbs in alcohol, before in the waters, then in alcohol, when the people are able, especially Arabian people, discovered the distillation process. So because you need a solvent, and you need a solvent that take out all the properties, the active properties by the herbs, and the alcohol is the best one. So the Amaro was born like a medicine, and in the past was a medicine. Also was the cure for the bubonic plague in the history, and yes, it was a medicine also for the Pope during the first Jubilee. And so Amaro, there is a big story, a lot of story behind the word Amaro, and you can read on my book, of course. There is also a big research about the history behind the word of Amaro.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So in the book, you go into a lot of history about the Amato, but you also traveled and you did a lot of research in the various regions in Italy to discover about the Amato. Talk about your experience with traveling and going to factories and learning more about it.
Yes, I spend I think 1 year and a half to 2 years every time I get back from United States in Italy. I love to go around Italy to visit some Amaro producer, and there was an incredible discovery, because I discovered a lot of companies that still make Amaro like 200 years ago, when there is a family business and people still press the Amaro manually like this. And I also discovered a big company that make Amaro in mass production with incredible machine and technologies, of course. Yes, I think the law also give the opportunity to some people, especially who make Amaro in mass production, to use also synthetic aromas. I'm not saying bad things, but sometimes are natural aroma and very good quality. You know, because may have also the spices ready for the production, and a lot of spices right now is very hard to find on the territory. So part of the botanicals sometimes come from abroad, from Asia and from the Middle East, and etc. So, and was an incredible discovery, especially as I told you, this kind of realities. And I want to give light to this kind of realities, because I think the romantic part of the Amaro soul is in these small companies that make incredible products. One of these is Cappelletti Liquor Factory, and is one of the most important brands in the United States. So like the Cappelletti Sfumato or the Pasubio or Cappelletti Americano. This company is a really small company, work inside no more than 5 people, and everything is natural. I saw the old tank full of alcohol and the spices. I saw the manual press. I saw them make this, and they have a very small production, and half of these are in the United States. Imagine in Italy, there are a lot of products that people don't know, but in America people know very well. So they don't have luck in Italy, but they are super known in the United States. That's sometimes I think is incredible.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Wow. So I know that you featured 300 different types of Amati in the book, but there are way more in existence than that. And you talk about how some of the producers use a lot of, old techniques, still today. What's new in the Amato world and Amato production?
So right now, I think, there was like in the past, the gin moment. So everyone want to make a gin with different herbs, gin with different flavor. Now it's the same for the Amaro, not only in Italy, but also in the United States. I saw a lot of good production of Amaro, and so it's like people are excited. As I told you, making Amaro is a great deal. especially because your creative skills are totally used, because you can use whatever you want. So you can make all the experimental you decide. You can use any herbs and botany. There is no limit for the number of herbs, for the alcohol degrees. There is no limit for the sugar content. There is no limit. So it's your mind, your creative, you can use whatever. So I discovered a lot of different Amaro with different kind of ingredients, and new and incredible brands, new and incredible small production. So it's a world that is growing up day after day. So the book was also made for the American supplier. Yes, because sometimes they don't have time to check, they don't have time to find the right product, and normally they import the first one they met in their own job. But so I made the research also for them, so they have the research already done. You just to read and find the right product and be able to import in United States or wherever you want, of course.
So what is your suggestion to find like an authentic, high quality Amato for a newbie or a connoisseur? What's your go-to guide?
So, of course, I think when you are in Italy, I suggest you to ask about the small production, the territorial production. It's possible to buy, because some Amaro are made just in a small territory or just in a city. So they don't have this kind of production so high and big to export around Italy, not only outside Italy, but also inside Italy. So yes, for example, now, just for case, because I have this bottle of Amaro. I bring this Amaro in United States. People became crazy, and the name is Amaro Formidabile. So I want to tell the story about this product. This guy was a waiter in a restaurant, was a small restaurant, like 10 seats. And he made this Amaro for customers, for his own clients. And he loved to say, "Do you touch of Amaro?" So when I tried this Amaro, I say, "Man, this Amaro is great. It's formidable, like the name." So it was incredible. And he started to make, he made his own liquor factory in a garage, in a small garage. He's working by himself alone, and is not able to do the big quantities of bottles. And he sold this bottle. He started to sell this bottle just in Rome. Now he's able to sold in Italy, but he doesn't want to sell outside Italy because he's not able to do more bottles than this. And it's an incredible recipe, a story behind this guy, and a great storytelling for his own Amaro. He made his own recipes, and it's incredible. So especially also around Rome, yes.
Wow. So what's the secret sauce? So you talked about the formidable Amato, but what's the secret sauce in making a great Amato at home, for the novice cocktail maker?
So you can make Amaro at home, yes. There is no secret, just try. It's not easy to make a recipe to make an Amaro. Of course, you have to have a good palate, and you have to be able to balance any botanicals. Also, myself, I don't think I will be able to make an Amaro by myself. I can think about the quantities, but I think I need the help of an herbalist, the real one that helped me to develop my idea of Amaro. So of course at home you can do that, maybe using not a lot of spices, just you can start making your own Hippocratic wine that is very simple. Just have a red wine and some cinnamon, honey, cloves, and honey star. You can find the recipes anyway on internet, make your own. Hippocratic wine, I think, is the origin about everything. So was the first infused with botanical wine, it was used like a medicine as well, and also it's very good. And to make your own cocktail at home, to substitute, for example, a classic vermouth, you can make your Hippocratic wine like the Romans made a long time ago. It's very simple. You can start by this one, and then you can develop the recipes, switching the wine with some alcohol, and adding step by step new botanicals and see how you can work, could
Yeah.
work, of course. This is my
And
suggestion to start.
Yeah, so that's making an actual Amato. And so what about making an Amato cocktail? So what's some of your go-tos or something that's simple that people can make at home?
Yes, for example, in America, when, especially they use a lot of kind of liquor. Now you can switch, you can change your liquor with an Amaro. Amaro, so instead to use like an orange curacao in your drink, you can make an Amaro using you can make your margarita, for example, using a citrusy Amaro. Or you can, instead to use, you can make your Paloma cocktail using a spicy Amaro. There is an Amaro with the Italian red pepper, you know, from Calabria, that is super spicy, and it could be like a nice version of this cocktail. You can make your old-fashioned, changing the sugary part with a touch of the sugar, like also an Amaro. Or don't use the Angostura in a cocktail, but use like something like a Fernet or Petrus Amaro, that is Italian Amaro with a Dutch recipe. It's one of the oldest recipes about. I think it's the father of Amaro, the Petrus. I think everybody knows this. Is very. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my suggestion. But my suggestion, if you want to make the perfect cocktail with Amaro, it's very simple. 2 ounces of Amaro, 15-20 ml of lime juice, and tonic water. Easy. It's fantastic. Amaro and tonic water, lemon, incredible. Also with soda, whatever. It's refreshing and fresh. It's incredible. Yes, easy, and anyone is a perfect aperitivo as well.
Wow, wonderful. So there's a section here in your book called How to Drink an Amato. And so other than aperitivo, before or after a meal, are there other ways, interesting ways to enjoy the Amato?
So the Amaro, of course, normally in Italy, the story teaches us to have the Amaro like a digestive at the end of the meal, especially when you have a very stressed meal. The Amaro is the cleaner, was something like the guy in the Pulp Fiction that cleaned the shins about, yeah, and the same. So maybe your doctor will not say you, hey, no, doctor, I don't feel very well, my stomach. The doctor will not say you, hey, try a touch of Fernet. But this is my suggestion, Dr. Matteo suggestion. Yes, I think when I don't feel very good with my stomach, I just had a shot of Fernet or any very bitter Amaro, very herbal, and I immediately feel better and better.
Wonderful. So other than the formidable, what other Amatos do you think, some of the people should know about, maybe want to go out and try and taste? What are some other ones that kind of stand out for you?
So I think you have to be in Italy, because I don't think in America a lot of these bottles are not available. So as I told you, being in the United States, I suggest anyone to try the Cappelletti Amaro, or there is also an Amaro, the name is Amaro Leon. I think it's in the United States right now. It's possible, it's available. Also, I think Cerberus from Umbria is by Barberani winery. I think is available in the United States as well. It's a very, very, very spicy, rooty Amaro. And also the classic, I really like Meletti, or the Amaro, or Borista Amaro. I think is a great experience for, I think is the king of the Amaro in the United States. Borista is fantastic product. Yes, totally. And I think it's coming up a lot. A lot also. The American Amaros are also doing very well. So I like, for example, Santa Grestis in New York City, in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Okay. And I see also in the book that you have some
Amaro.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Also, Amaro Angostura, I think, is one of the best experience I ever had, because Angostura Amaro It's like the Amaro coming from the bitter, Angostura bitter, and it's very special product. They did a really great job in my opinion. Totally.
Nice.
Just tell me, Victoria. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say that in the book you've got some amatos that are paired in or with food. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So I also in my book I made like an experiment with some Michelin starred chef, and I asked them to make some recipe using Amaro, and there was an incredible experience because they were able to make any meal, any plate with using the Amaro from the starter to the dessert, and yes, it was an incredible story. And also because in the United States, I think there are a lot of young chefs, they are doing that. In Italy, they are starting to do this. It's not very traditional, but I think it's a very creative way to give like to make cool any recipes. Also to give the bitter touch, the Italian touch on the recipes as well.
All right, this is all so fascinating. And I got a question already, but I also wanted to let the audience know that we wanted to open the stage up for questions. And so you can drop your question in the chat box or the Q&A box. And I can ask Matteo the question, but first we have one from Diego Benitez.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks, what was the most surprising fact that you learned about the Amati during your research for the book?
Yes, so the most amazing fact that really surprised me, as I told you, that there are I saw a lot of, so that Amaro is not only like a product to make a business, but I saw an entire family be involved in a small Amaro production. So made Amaro and find the right herbs on the territory was a really romantic story for me, and also surprised me because I understood that behind the big brands of Amaro there is also something different. There is still the soul, like 200 years ago, people still going on the territory. They made the herbs by themselves. They do the filiera, so the production method from the start to the end. So and they are totally involved. The Amaro is their own salary, so they gain money with that, and also making just a small number of bottles, and that's really incredible. How many love people put in the Amaro production? They still putting in the Amaro production.
That's amazing, because that means that no two bottles maybe are the same, you know?
Exactly. And I think when you have an Amaro that has is not very well filtered, I don't think it's a bad sign of production. I think it's a good sign of production. That means it's very artisanal. They don't have any industrial filtering, so it's very natural. So I think it's not so bad. It's a good sign of great production or small artisanal production. Another thing that that's really surprising me was discover, as I told you, different kind of ingredients to make Amaro. So people made Amaro with onions, particular kind of onions. So as I told you, different kind of herbs that nobody knows. It's an incredible story. Yes.
Wow. All right. And so again, people can send questions in the chat box or the Q&A box. I have another question from Trenton Huntington. He says that I currently make Amato at home and I'm going to be moving to Rome in January. Yay. I would love to learn more about Amato making from a master in Italy while living there. Do you have any recommendations for any specific region or any places he could go to learn more?
I think Rome is a good place where to be, especially Lazio. There is a lot of great Amaro masters. people that living making Amaro. Also, this guy, as I told you, the guy making Formidabile, Armando Bomba, is a great master about that. But there are also other factories around Rome, very good, where the people can learn and have a great experience. So just let me know when you are coming, and I will try to organize something for you with this guy. Yes, no problem.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And so I guess that wraps up, he said he'll reach out. I guess that wraps up the Q&A and the questions. Tell us about what's new in the bartending world. You got this new fantastic bar in Rome.
Yes, I got this bar in Rome. It's perfectly in front of the Colosseum. There is a terrific view. You can enjoy the Colosseum in all your experience. Of course, it's a beautiful place. It's not only view, but also great service, incredible drinks, a lot of Amaro cocktail as well. So you can discover how to use Amaro making your drinks. And I really love to have, and we can try different kind of Amaro together. Have a short about different kind of Amaro that normally I have at the bar. I also opened the bar in Rome, but like consulting is an Amaro bar. I think the first European Amaro bar, and they have there like 600 different kinds of bottle of Amaro as well. And I will be happy to. I got also in my house something like 600 bottle of Amaro, and I need to find a place where to put it now in my box. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Matteo. This has been wonderful learning about the wonderful world of Amato. There's so much to learn. There's so much to discover, and your book really delves into a lot of it. And so thank you for writing this wonderful book, and thank you for your time and interviewing with us. Yeah,
yes, thank you. I suggest to anyone to grab the book, because I think it's the any doubts I got and any doubts people have that normally make questions to me about this and that is explained in my book. So this is a Bible of Amaro. You can know everything about that, from the rules, how to make an Amaro, and the European community law about the Amaro, and the different kind of production method, from the classic to the most modern. And of course, you have 300 different kind of Amaro where take inspiration, and where you can also where you can buy or try to import in United States. And I think anything you want to know is there in this book. It's a complete book, and I try to put everything I knew, everything I discovered about Amaro in these 2 years of my life, where I try, and was very hard because I brought this book in the night when I get back from the bar, and I do tasting in the morning instead to make breakfast. It was very hard, especially because the people don't know, but when you make a book, your publisher start to tell you, hey, you got 3 months, you got 1 month, so you have to give me the book. So you have to work hard and fast. Is not easy. So my life was totally involved in the book writing. So I really wanna give. I put my soul in this book, my heart, my knowledge, all my time, my life. So I really would like people that love it, and also I want to have a feedback by them. Whatever they want to tell me about the book is really appreciated in a good and a bad way. And so your suggestion will help me to make better, maybe in the next one, of course.
Awesome. Diego, he asked the first question, wanted to know how he can get an autographed copy of the book.
So maybe soon I will be in United States. I'm waiting Mr. Biden open the borders. So, I got the documents. I'm totally regular. I got my visa, working visa. I'm an O1 freelance visa. So I'm totally good to get in the United States. I'm also vaccinated. So I'm just waiting Mr. Biden give me the opportunity to get back and to try to talk about Amaro, to work with you guys, and also to sign my book in person, and to hand your hand in person.
Well, you'll have to come to Seattle to sign some books.
I
Whenever
really would trust me, looking forward to come. I want to invest my time to do that, to go around the United States and talk with people, try to explain better myself and what I wrote in my book, and also to meet people in person, talking with them, understand what they want, what they are looking for, and about this world, about the bitter world. I'm totally ready, looking forward, and can't wait to get back. Honestly, I'm missing United States. I'm missing a lot. You can imagine.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Matteo and Victoria, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here virtually in the virtual space. It was such a pleasure to meet you both and to learn a little bit more about what you do. I'm sure I can speak on the behalf of our audience and say that I just had so much fun hearing you both talk about Amaro and really diving in deep. We do have copies of Big Book of Amaro at Booklarder. I did drop a link in the chat. You'll also get a link in your post-event email if you registered, but those are available at booklarder.com. We will also have this author talk posted on our website, or sorry, on our YouTube channel within 48 hours of the event. So if you want to go back and listen to the event, or if you know someone who really loves Amaro but who missed out on today's conversation, that will be available and posted there. On behalf of Booklarder, thank you so much to everyone who joined us here today. We look forward to seeing you all, including Matteo and Victoria, perhaps in the shop in the future. Have a good day, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.